This is edited, right? You cut out the things that I don't do well.
Good to meet you, ma'am.
Okay, so you can answer these questions in as much or as little detail as you want.
Okay. How many questions are you answering?
There's 5 or 6.
Okay.
Alright, so this should only take a minute or two. First
Sure.
question. How would you describe America today?
In turmoil.
Busy as crap. It's a lot going on in the news every day.
Well, I heard it once described as a melting pot, but I think nowadays it's more like a salad bowl.
I don't think that America's living up to anything that it's promising. I think that we think we can hack our way out of the issues and it's not happening.
America today is so fast, like we're just like on it all day, every day, and there's really no break and no chill time. So I would definitely say very fast-paced, very hectic.
Well, we have a lot of consumerism and wanting to buy luxury.
I would describe America today as a beautiful but intricate place. It has its good moments, has its bad, just as everybody else.
Heavily divisive, but with an idea of trying to improve itself.
Well, we fail to kind of notice the surface is allowing us to meet or greet. So if there's emotion, then there's no need to suppress.
We're operating in the gray right now, man. Like that's just all it is. So
Oh man, in shambles. It's a mess. I feel like, I think that's all you need to say.
Confused.
I would say congested, not necessarily like people, because I feel like America's made up of people, but just like everyone's, opinions and thoughts and upbringing. Like I feel like it's a pretty congested place to have like a united view of one thing.
That is quite a question. I don't know. It's just, it contains multitudes.
Pretty fucked up, to be honest. Sorry for the language.
That's totally fine.
It's a lot more messed up than I even thought that it was, to be honest.
I am. I'm cautiously optimistic.
We've come through some harder times than this, I think.
Yeah, I'm always optimistic about that.
Why do you think you're such an optimistic person?
Because you can't go more down when you're already at the bottom, You can only go up.
I would say I have been, but currently not so much. No.
I'm always an optimist. I have to believe things will get better. I have to believe that, we can make improvements for ourselves.
Oh yes. I believe everything great, no matter what, has to have its ups and downs, its challenges. This is one of those tests for our country, America, right now. I believe this, as well as anything else in the past, we will get through stronger and better.
I think that we are just too divided at this point for there to be any kind of, maybe political solution. It seems that something's going to happen. We're just boiling up to a breaking point.
No.
our track record sucks. So I always try to be optimistic. There's always going to be two opposing forces, I think.
Not particularly.
Am I optimistic? I'm optimistic about the change that can be brought up from where we're standing right now. However, I feel there's going to be a lot more chaos and like uprooting before there's anything. You know, sometimes there has to be like, you got to burn a little bit of forest in order for new foliage to grow. So I feel like it'll be some time, but it'll definitely get to a point where everyone, I feel like, it feels heard. I feel like it's just as important to have a perspective as it is to be able to express that perspective, whatever culturally or socially you define that as.
I do have hope. I don't know in what that would look like, but I definitely do have hope.
Yes and no. I think we're moving in some right directions. It's going to take a bit of time, I think, but we're getting there slowly but surely.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to believe I have control. Whether or not that's an illusion is a different story.
Kind of. It feels rocky sometimes, but it's all what you make it. And life is rough, but you gotta have faith.
Yes, I do feel like I have control over my life. I believe both on a large scale and a little scale, intelligence plays a very heavy factor in knowing how to, properly integrate yourself into both the system, into maintaining a decent standard of living, and just mental health and everything.
Yes, in the day-to-day things, the best I can.
Control. Yes, amen.
I get to wear what I want to wear in most spaces. Some spaces it's not as safe.
No. As a woman, I do not feel like I currently have very much control over, in like a political aspect. In a physical, like personal aspect, I feel like I do have like a lot of control over what I'm doing and what like choices I make for my future.
I feel like there's certain circumstances that universally are brought to me because of actions that I do, whether I'm conscious or subconsciously invoking that. So somewhat.
Because I feel like my decisions lead everything that I do. Like even today, I've had a pretty rough day today, so I made the decision to come and get some fresh air and just sit outside. So I feel like the conscious decisions that I make with like how I contribute to the world definitely have an effect on like my life and what that looks like.
Oh, you're getting more philosophical by the question. That's a hard one. Sometimes I do, and most of the times, not really.
I feel like I have control over which decisions I'm making and where I'll be living, and if things aren't going terribly well here, then I can leave. So in that regard, yes, but if I were to stay here, I don't know that I would feel like I have much control.
Oh gosh, I see it all the time. My neighbors and I, the way that we look out for one another and look after each other's homes and pets when we go away. I have a neighbor, she and I foster cats together, so seeing those little guys come out of pretty awful situations and become socialized and loving, that gives me hope.
I saw somebody pick up a homeless guy and take him to a shelter. At least that's what he said he was doing.
Oh my gosh, I feel like there's a perfect example, but I'm not remembering it at the moment.
One time I was on the road and I went the wrong exit, and they all backed up like a team, and they were like, all right, let's get this girl where she needs to go. So that was a big impact on me.
I had a flat tire actually, and a random person, white person, I would like to state, a female actually came and offered me help, and I found that interesting because it's a flat tire, something that a lot of times is the guy's job. And then, I had all these people walk past and drive past me, both black, white, whatever, you got. And nobody stopped but this girl, who offered assistance, and that gave me hope. That made me feel like, there's still people out here who are conscious enough that even though she realized, hey, I may not be able to do it, just the fact that I stopped is good enough to look out for the next person.
I don't know, I feel like a friendship is always something that gives you hope. So like having friends that help you out and like will help you make art or help you in other situations. Like my car broke down the other day and like I had a whole support system that like uplifted me and like made sure I got where I need to go, which is so silly and sounds so cliche, but like it's the only thing I can think of at the moment.
Something that gave me hope. I was just walking, I saw 2 little kids. I was like, that gives me hope. I feel like anytime I ever am in a bad state of mind or I feel like there's some slack going on within like myself, I can go on a walk and I can see a little kid, and that in itself is just a miracle. I feel like kids are what we're supposed to be living for, not necessarily for ourselves or like the country. I feel like if the country was focused on benefiting those who come after us, it'd be a lot more of a less egotistical way of living.
Well, there are many such times. For example, in 1989, after the Berlin Wall collapsed, all over Eastern Europe, but then there were so many others, everywhere in the world. Of course, I'm biased because I come from that part of the world.
Honestly, probably you approaching me today. Like, I think, especially like being a Black woman, people don't usually approach me, especially if they don't know me. So to have the, time to come and ask me if I would be comfortable with something and then letting me know like what you were trying to do, I feel like that showed me something good because I definitely wasn't anticipating it, and it's actually kind of made my day.
Ooh, I would like to see less hatred and less just cruelty in the world, be it to animals, be it to people, be it to Mother Nature.
I think more tolerance, more compassion. I think a stronger education system across the world will help with that. People begin to understand it's not just them, it's others. And that's important to take care of, is others.
I'd like to see, personally, I'd like to see all boats rise. And to be more specific, I'd like to see poverty eradicated, and it can be.
I just want there to be more of a chill culture, like we just work so hard and go so fast. I really want there to be more of like a acceptance of like calming down and taking that time for themselves.
I've always wanted world peace. It's a stretch, but the more that people show kindness, that makes the world a better place. So if that can go around and everyone can keep that same energy, I think that the world would be a much better place.
Something I would like to see change in the world is to focus more on understanding. I really believe that's what's missing. The racial divide, the economic divide, everything comes down to understanding. Understanding why things are and understanding how they could go a different way.
If we just stopped, I guess, on a broad picture, stop with name calling, I suppose, seeing more of a recognizing that we're all kind of our fellow humans or whatever.
So to be able to be around someone and know that they're silent, to not use that and say that he's not, active.
Definitely, if we're talking about politics, I said healthcare is one of the biggest things. I think we should have universal healthcare. Like, that would be wonderful to change. I feel like just in the city, if we had better public transportation, that'd be amazing. There's so many things that could go differently.
Right now, we're not sourcing our food or materials where it's most benefited. I feel like hemp should be a very big thing within our residential areas. I feel like hemp is, there's no mold. There's just a lot within building material that hemp is good for.
I definitely want to see a change with how all of our systems that are in place work with our people, because I feel like our people are ever changing, but our systems aren't.
Lots of things need change, but at least less wars. And I don't know, less oppression and, all that good stuff.
I'd like to see some big things change as far as what we're doing with the environment. Maybe more pushes toward solar or toward vegetarianism or something that can, decrease our footprint. so to speak.
I've been in Richmond for 21 years, and I think it's time to get to a new perspective.
Changing my own life. I think I'd like to deepen some of the relationships that I have with the people, like in my neighborhood, locally.
Get a stable job. Yeah. Tired of working at like McDonald's and stuff. Get like a real job. That's the plan.
Just a better sense of security.
Make sure I have that healthy relationship between like work, life, and social time. But you know, in school they like show you the triangle and they're just like pick 2 of these 3. But I don't know what happens when you want it all.
Something I hope to see change in my own life is my financial situation. I intend to have enough to impact a lot of kind of what we've just spoken about. And money is not everything in this world, but it does go a long way in helping you achieve, and articulate your dreams properly. So I do believe right now a main focus of mine is my financial situation, not to just accumulate wealth and stuff like that, but to genuinely impact the change from the grassroots level all the way to the top.
I'd like to wake up earlier. I'd like to get a nicer sleep schedule and create a schedule that I can stick to.
A lot more time with Jalen, my son, instead of trying to, I'm not pushing off anything. Just spend more time with someone I may have created.
Honestly, like the biggest thing that pops in my head is like just security, like feeling more safe and secure in like my lifestyle, what I'm doing, and the people that I'm around.
It's always changing. I feel like that's what life is. Life is just nothing other than a constant gamble of the changes that occur.
I'd like to move to Europe to get away from all of this.